Usually the only time I hear my middle name is when I was in trouble. Uh, so yeah.
I don't know. Why do I always do that? I don't know. Is that your email or something like that? No.
No, no,
All right. So David Dave.
that's okay. That's all right.
Not in
Yeah.
trouble. You're not in trouble.
Good for once. For once.
Hey, everybody. Ken Hendricks from Home Instead Senior Care here. Thanks so much for joining me again today. Today, my guest is David Lee Davis. David is the director of the Memory Care Alliance of Northern New Mexico. David founded the Alliance in order to bring ongoing support, planning services, education, and other resources to families who are living with the realities brought on by Alzheimer's and other dementia-related illnesses. David's background, both personally and professionally, certainly qualify him as a fantastic resource for those caring for loved ones with dementia. He and I serve together on the board of the Santa Fe Healthcare Network, a large organization of professionals dedicated to the well-being of our Santa Fe elder community. And he and I have known each other for several years. I'm really happy to have him on today. We're going to be talking about what he's doing to navigate the things that are coming up with this challenging time that we're all living through. Please welcome David to the show. Thanks for coming on, David.
Yeah, Ken, you threw the Lee in there. Usually the only time I hear my middle name is when I was in trouble. So yeah.
I don't know. Why do I always do that? I don't know. Is that your email or something like that? No.
No.
All right. So David,
that's okay. That's all right.
Not
Yeah.
in trouble. You're not in trouble.
Good. For once, I'm not in the line of fire.
So for those that may not know you very well, would you mind sharing just a little bit about your background and the Memory Care Alliance, and maybe just for fun, a little practice or habit that you're implementing personally to help you stay sane during these crazy times?
Sure. I think to start with, my experience with Alzheimer's and dementia, it is not a traditional education. I guess it would be the street version. I don't have any letters after my name. I don't
School
have
of Hard Knocks.
PhD. School of Hard Knocks. By the time I was 19, my father had drunk. He was an alcoholic. Had drunk to the point he had alcohol-related dementia, and was no longer able to care for himself. So that was my first experience. Although growing up in our neighborhood, there were a couple of folks who had the disease, and I saw firsthand what it was like. After my dad passed away, he lived to be 59. My grandmother had it, and then my mom had it. Most directly, she was burdened with that for 11 years. She had a mix of vascular dementia and Alzheimer's, which generally, so anybody that has one or the other is about 70% end up with both by the end of the trip. But yeah, and once my mom passed away, I knew I was in Dallas. I wanted to come back. I knew I wanted to come back to New Mexico, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I got back here, and a few friends said, you should really think about becoming involved and doing something. So I started the Memory Cafe after I moved here, and it was tough. I was reluctant to do it to start with. I thought, everybody I work with, I'm just going to see my mother's face. And so I started the Memory Cafe, and I was wrong. I didn't see my mother's face. I saw my own face because it's the caregivers that we work with. And I realized that they're the ones who need the help. They're the ones who need the education. They're the ones that need the support. That all transcends to a positive solution in the way that they're able to care for their loved one. but they're the ones that we focus on. So the Memory Care Alliance, it 3 years now has been quite successful.
Time has flown by, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has gone by quite quickly. I was thinking the other day, I've only been back in New Mexico 4 years. I worked for the Alzheimer's Association for almost a year, and then we started this organization. And one of the reasons this organization has succeeded is because we have been able to partner with people. You mentioned the healthcare network, and that's a collective partnership, in my opinion. All of our members work collectively, but
Mm-hmm.
the Memory Care Alliance, we partner with folks. We've partnered with the Memory and Aging Center at UNM, and they've been an enormous help. They assess people and provide ongoing clinical care. They've got a research part of that, but this is kind of a big family, so to speak, of caregivers and the people who support them.
Yeah. So what practice are you personally trying to implement each day to help you get through all this craziness that we're living through?
I stay busy. Um, no, seriously, to be able to continue to help people and guide them and give them the support and education they need. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the most rewarding thing I could possibly do. I go to bed tired, but it's a good tired.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. It's not just that you're staying busy, but it's you're staying busy giving of
Yeah,
yourself. Yeah.
yeah. And I've learned, sometimes we're our own worst enemies. The first rule of caregiving is take care of yourself. Um, in the last 3 years, I've had to learn that too.
Yeah.
Initially, it was just go, 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 go until I would just drop. But I have learned to be more even in my work and to take breaks. Um, During the day, I do try and turn it off in the evening and give myself a little breather. I take a walk every night. So, um,
There's definitely more people taking walks these days, right? I think.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of nice. I've always been a walker. When I was caring for my mom, um, particularly at the end, um, your free time goes down to nothing. But I would take a walk every day. Took my phone. I didn't go that far. We had a caregiver who stayed with her, but that walk became precious, and I still do that. I don't walk for exercise. I walk to decompress and think about things.
That's great. And so my next question was going to be, knowing that, dementia is something that has certainly affected you both personally, and it's something that you've dealt with professionally as well. You already touched on that. I was thinking of, asking where your passion for this work comes from. And you kind of touched on that, but what is it that really keeps you passionate about this work?
When my mom died, or when anybody dies, you grieve.
Yeah.
Um, and everybody does that differently. Um, I work with a lot of folks now that have lost somebody, and it's tough. Um, some people manage that better than others, but it takes time. But you have to find a way to uh, cope and deal and accept your grief. And for me, um, I have weaponized my grief, um, and I use my grief uh, to help other people. That's the only way I can justify and accept and understand what my mom went through.
Hmm.
If some good can come out of that, and I think a lot has, I think she would be quite proud. Uh, of what has happened. Um, that was the trigger uh, of my passion. I think now, as much as that, it's it's the people we help. It's the people I'm able to care for. Um, to be able to pass that on, and in turn they pass it on. So it's ongoing. And again, sometimes it's harder some days than others to find that passion, and I think that's normal.
Yeah.
Um, I don't care what anybody does. If they mend roads, or they're a surgeon, or they're a congressman, if they have that passion, go for it. My mom used to tell me, I don't care if you dig ditches, as long as you do it well and you enjoy it, I'm happy. So here I am. I'm digging a big ditch.
I think that's actually healthy to recognize that passion, even for the things that we're most passionate about, that we enjoy the most, it ebbs and flows day to day sometimes. And I think that sometimes we could think that there's a symptom in that, of there's something being wrong, but I think it, like you said, it's just that's how it is. And
Yeah, you and I are lucky that we work with some very passionate, dedicated people. I mean, senior care is tough. I mean, we all realize the challenges we have, but the folks that we work with are incredibly dedicated, um, and passion rubs off to some degree. Um,
mhm.
I get inspired by the people I work with, sometimes as much as the people I'm able to help.
Absolutely. I know that you established the Memory Care Alliance as a means to fill a gap in services that you had seen within the communities here in northern New Mexico. What types of help have you all been able to provide thus far? And I'd be interested to hear, from your perspective, what ways in particular do you see that we as a community need to focus in on to do better for our families who are living with the realities of dementia and Alzheimer's?
Uh, this is tough. I mean, I lived through it, and I know what I had firsthand experience of what folks need. Um, First of all, they need education, um, a good, solid understanding of first of all what they're in for, and how to manage that, how to manage day-to-day care for who they're caring for, but also themselves. Most of what's out there, um, there's a lot of sugarcoating. I call it the Disneyland version of Alzheimer's. Nobody wants to talk about the bad stuff.
Mhm.
Well, the people need to hear about the bad stuff. I teach the Prepare to Care class, um, and a guy up in Los Alamos, one of the biggest compliments I had was, he said, you've pulled back the curtain and talked about what nobody else has been willing to tell me. Um,
Mhm.
Folks need to know. So they need education. Um, they need um, the compassion and commitment, uh, to be able to do this, and they can find that in themselves, and they can find that, um, in support from other folks, other caregivers. So um, that's important. And they also need, I think the last thing they need is they need to be empowered. They need the confidence, um, to feel like they're able to do this day to day and long term, um, and feel confident that they have uh, all the tools that they need to be able to do it. Um, they have all the resources they need to be able to do it, and again, they have the support. So, the Memory Care Alliance is a very different model. I didn't I didn't really look what everybody else was doing. I really looked at what was needed. Um, and this is based on community. It's a community of caregivers. It's a community of people who want to support them. Um, about a year and a half ago, I got a photo that some of the caregivers had sent me, and it was 4 or 5 of them, and they were all tailgating up at the opera. And my first reaction was, "Oh, well, thanks for inviting me very much. I would have loved to have gone." It's true. I was a little miffed. I was like, "Oh, y'all are out having a good time. Where's where's my invitation?" And then I looked at it again, and I started crying because I realized, a year before that picture was taken, those people didn't know each other.
Mm.
They didn't have the education that they needed. They were afraid. They were alone. And then a year later, they're all, having fun at the opera. Um,
And they sent the picture
these,
to you.
yeah, but all of these caregivers, and there's a lot of them. Yeah, we all meet every Friday, but they also talk to each other on the phone every day. They celebrate each other's birthdays. They check on each other. To some degree, they don't even need me anymore, and that's success. Um,
Yeah.
that is true success. It's a family. It's a community, um, and when they have that, they'll they're going to be friends the rest of their lives,
Mm.
even after they lost their loved one. And that's what works.
Speaking of the community that you've been able to establish, I know that COVID has certainly impacted us all in multiple ways and made it more difficult for our organizations to fulfill our missions, at least in the way that we've been used to doing. I really appreciate seeing how everybody has really thought outside of the box, and they're doing really creative and different types of things. And you're no exception to that. You've been doing. I've gathered you even done some drive up support groups and drive up gatherings.
Yeah. So yeah, I've never been good thinking about it, in the box. I don't know what a box is. Nobody told me about the box. Like I said, I didn't look at what everybody else was doing. I look at what's needed. Um, in the moment and long term. So yeah, I was out riding my bike one evening, and I drove past a church, and it was a drive-in church service. They were all sitting in their cars listening, and I thought, yeah, that'll work. So we started doing drive-in memory cafes. People would stay in their car, and I'd bring treats. We did social distancing bingo. They could get out of their car. We stay 6 feet apart. Masks on. We play games of chance for prizes. It works. It works. It works when a 95-year-old with advanced dementia can take home first prize. So, and everybody's happy. So we're doing our Friday support group now. It's a mixed what's the word, hybrid, I believe somebody said. I like that. That sounds wild and untamed. We have a hybrid support group, so people can meet in person, and then I also have a live feed, so people can meet online. So we had it last Friday. There were, I think, 8 people at the Unitarian Church, and another 4 or 5 that joined us online. So yeah, you've got to get creative. Good caregivers are creative. So we do what works. We do what works.
And so, and also in addition to how COVID has made things difficult for, gathering together in person, it's made it difficult for organizations, uh, especially nonprofits, to do any types of fundraising, because like so many of our traditional ways of doing things relied on everybody, being able to gather together. And so how can people support what the Memory Care Alliance is doing? And we haven't mentioned up to this point that it's a nonprofit. And so you guys rely on fundraising to be able to do the things that you do. How can people support you during this time? And do you have any plans in the works upcoming for virtual events that we might be able to support you through?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It has been tough on us and a lot of nonprofits. So our trivia night was canceled. Um, we had planned to do a fundraiser in Taos. We had planned to do another fundraiser at the Audubon, um, um, Randall Davy. We have canceled the bike rally in October, and maybe most importantly, not a fundraiser, but we've canceled our education day. Again, safety first, but it's what's right to do. So we are a nonprofit solely based on donations and fundraisers. One of the things I'll mention is all of the volunteers that we have. Every single one of them is a past caregiver or an active caregiver, which gives you an idea about how dedicated people are to seeing this succeed. So yeah, fundraising is tough. We're going to have an annual fund drive at the end of August and September, which we'll ask people to donate for. Other than that, not a whole lot. Trying to do something online. I've looked and watched some of the other local nonprofits try and do that, and I just don't think that they have been worth the time. You want to be careful about how much time and energy you put into something versus the return. So I don't have an idea for anything online just as yet. People have given quite a bit of artwork over the last couple of years, and we're gonna have either some sort of art auction or something at some point. But again, to do it online, yeah, I'm learning and I'm trying to figure it out. So if
Yeah.
anybody would like to make a donation, they can do that through the New Mexico Community Foundation, and I think that's nmcf.org, and you can just follow the prompts to make a donation there.
We can put the link in the show notes as well so that they can just scroll down and click it.
Yeah, if you just want to do a direct donation to us, check in the mail. It's PO Box 24101, Santa Fe 87505, and I guess you can add my email if anybody wants to contact us. The money's well spent. It's of course it goes for my salary, but one of our commitments is that all the money stays here in New Mexico, northern New Mexico, to help folks that live here and that need the help.
You mentioned a little while back that you were working on a new website. Has that launched yet, or is it coming soon?
Yeah, it's thememorycarealliance.org. So check it out.
Awesome. Well, folks can head there to get in touch with you as well, but we'll put the links to all the things that you mentioned and the addresses that you mentioned in the show notes. And so thanks so much for coming on today and spending the time with me. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the community, especially caregivers?
Uh, Hang in there. Don't give up. If you need help, you know where we are.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
For over 25 years, Home Instead has helped seniors stay home. Now, staying home isn't just staying in the place they love. It's staying safe. Home Instead. To us, it's personal.